Funny how just a single sound can take you back. Games aren't just memories, they're time machines. The Wii Sports intro music, the PlayStation 2 startup sound, the Xbox 360 boot up. All of them pull me back to different points in my life. Each console feels like a time capsule of a different version of me. The PlayStation 1 startup? That's Gran Turismo 2 with my dad, amazed at how many cars they could squeeze into just a CD. The Xbox 360? College, staying up all night playing split-screen Black Ops with friends. The PlayStation 2? Wrapped up in bed playing Lord of the Rings Return of the King late into the night. If I revisit these games today, it's like I never left. If I load up Metal Gear Solid 2, I still know exactly where every guard is, exactly where to run to advance the story. Even though I haven't played it in years, my hands just remember. But why do these games stick out more than others? I've played countless PlayStation 2 games, but only a handful instantly come to mind. The rest, they're buried deep in memory. This is what's known as the reminiscence bump. Our brains give special weight to the experiences we have in our teens and early 20s, the years when our identity is taking shape and our experiences leave the deepest mark. It's why these games feel so much more real than something I played last year and have already forgotten about. When I think about Dynasty Warriors 4, I don't just remember the game, I remember being homesick from school, lying around on the sofa, when my dad returned from the shop with this game in his hand. A small gesture that 20 years later still means something to me. Or Command & Conquer Generals. We had a lodger living around my house when I was 10 years old, and I used to sit and watch him play, imagining myself playing it. One day I finally got my own copy, and it became one of my most cherished games. I played every mode, every faction, but when I think back to it, I don't just remember playing the game, I remember him. The way that I used to watch him play it day in, day out, and the way that it made me want to get the game myself in the first place. I guess it was sort of like watching a streamer play a game today, just in my own house. But there's something else about that memory. The moment I finally got my own copy. I remember holding the case, looking at the cover art, reading the back of the case, opening it up and smelling that new game scent. That moment sticks with me just as much as playing it. I felt proud to have my own copy of the game. It's not just the games themselves that stick with me, it's everything around them. The way that I got them, the build-up, the first time I played them, and maybe that's part of why older games just feel more nostalgic. Nostalgia isn't just about what we played, it's about how we played them. And back then, getting a new game actually meant something. Back then, buying a game wasn't just clicking download, it was an event. Just take a look at the hype surrounding Halo's release. The people outside waiting to buy the game are excited. It's an event. Going to the shop, picking the case off the shelf, bringing it home, opening the box, flicking through the manual. The first and only midnight release that I ever attended was for Modern Warfare 3. I remember rushing back to my friend's house so we could jump straight onto split-screen multiplayer. I used to love going to the local game shop and browsing all the potential games that I could play, and picking the one that was coming home with me. The very first thing that I always did when I bought a new game was open it up and smell the box. There's a distinctive new game smell that hits me with nostalgia every time. That physicality made games feel special in a way that digital libraries never will. Those moments have gone, replaced with a simple download button. The excitement still surrounds new releases, but I think it feels more fleeting. But having instant access to your past, does that actually make nostalgia stronger, or does it dull the feeling? You can revisit an old game any time that you want, but you can't revisit the time in your life when you first played it. The nostalgia isn't just for the game, it's for the moments that it represents. There's a difference between nostalgia for old games and nostalgia for old gaming experiences. Nostalgia for old games is easy. You can emulate old consoles, download classics on PC, and revisit them any time you like. But nostalgia for old gaming experiences, that only exists in memory. I tried to relive it recently when Black Ops 6 was released. My friend had it on his Xbox and I asked if it supported split screen. Luckily, it did. And we had an evening of playing the new Call of Duty split screen together on the sofa, just like old times. But it wasn't the same. I still had fun, but I had been here before, and before was better. I was younger. I had fewer responsibilities. I had all the time in the world to play and level up. Now, I don't feel that drive at all. I wasn't chasing the game, I was chasing the past. And no matter how good the game really is, the past is something you can't reload. At some point, nostalgia stopped being a feeling and started being a business model. Remasters, remakes, reboots, they're everywhere. This is all part of the 20-year cycle. Every 2 decades, media and fashion resurface because the kids who grew up with them are now adults with disposable income. Companies know that nostalgia sells. That's why we've been resold our childhood again and again, redone, remastered, rebooted, reignited, classic, definitive edition. Whatever term that they use, the goal is the same, to tap into our emotions. They take advantage of the emotional pull that it has, but over time, it starts to lose its impact. Nostalgia begins to feel hollow. It's almost expected now. If you played a game 20 years ago, you're safe to assume that it will be remastered soon. It's not a surprise when a childhood favourite gets remade and resold at full price. I'm guilty of buying into it myself. World of Warcraft Classic, Diablo 2 Resurrected, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Spyro Reignited, StarCraft Remastered. The list could keep going on. Sure, there are companies like Good Old Games who preserve old games and make them playable on modern hardware, and some remasters are done well, but nostalgia has been sold to us so many times that it just doesn't feel special anymore. It feels expected. I loved playing Spyro the Dragon as a kid, so when I saw the Reignited trilogy, I won't lie, I was excited. When it finally dropped on PC, I bought a copy of it on Steam and booted it up, and after 10 minutes, I didn't even really feel like playing it. Not because the remaster was bad, it was actually well made. I just had remaster fatigue. The excitement was transient. I didn't even really feel like I wanted to revisit the game. The marketing just had me believing that I wanted to. There's comfort in nostalgia, but there's also a risk. The myth of it was better back then. As kids, we had no bills, no stress, no major responsibilities. The gaming experiences we had felt richer because we were fully immersed. No phones, no distractions, just pure focus. Now we have constant distractions. Phones, social media, second monitors, endless podcasts, the world's music on demand. Even when we carve out time to play an old favourite, we're not really engaged in it. I've been guilty of this for years. Before I even had a second monitor, I'd play a YouTube video on my iPad whilst gaming on my PC. Neither really got my full attention. The game became visual noise, just something for me to look at while I listened to whatever I was into at that time. But nostalgia isn't just a distraction. It can also be an escape from reality. During lockdown, I played Call of Duty Warzone and World of Warcraft Classic intensely. These games weren't just entertainment for me. They were a way to avoid thinking about the real world. We had no idea what was going on. We were locked in our homes. What else were we supposed to do? Warzone was like a lifeline, a meeting place for me and my friends. A space where we could still laugh, strategize, and feel connected. WoW Classic offered me something even deeper. A sense of progress. I leveled new characters, farmed gold, raided with the guild. It felt like I was doing something in a world where everything else was on hold. WoW Classic and Lockdown let me experience something that I hadn't felt since I was younger. It was the closest I had come to being able to recreate the past. I was able to focus all my energy and effort into a singular game, just like I had done back in 2007. But then lockdown ended and reality hit. We began to go back outside and the truth was revealed to me. It doesn't matter how many old games you revisit, you just can't recreate the past. I had just lived through a new moment in my life, an epoch for many. It just happened to be with an old game, and old faces. Lockdown has now become quite a nostalgic time for me, and revisiting Call of Duty Warzone is a stark reminder of the reality that we can't recreate the past. My friends have moved on. They don't play Warzone anymore, and the game itself has changed. It doesn't even have the same map available to play that we all knew. The guns and the gameplay are all different. I'm different. The game and I have both grown older and moved on. If I load up Warzone now, it just feels empty, like the soul is no longer there and I don't want to play it. StarCraft 2 is a game where I feel like the soul is still there. There is still a community surrounding that game, albeit a niche one. But revisiting this game doesn't bring the same feelings it used to. I used to spend many nights almost living at my friend's house, playing 3v3 ranked games as a team, sitting side by side. I loved these times. Playing a team game that you're passionate about with your friends sitting right next to you. This was back in 2012. It's been over 13 years since then. What used to be a mecca of friendship and working together is now a stark reminder of my loneliness, highlighting to me just how real the effects of a dwindling friendship group is as you get older. Loading this game up now leaves me feeling lonely and isolated. Although I could get one friend on to play it if I wanted to, the passion and the drive just isn't there. But something deep inside me keeps telling me to load this game up every now and then. In more recent years, I played what was at the time a new MMO, New World. It felt like the magic was there once again. Everyone I knew was playing it. Thousands of people were all starting the adventure all at the same time. It's now nearly been 4 years since then, and it's already become a nostalgic memory, just a more recent one. The experience was meaningful to me because, again, it was a joint experience. Those I worked with got into the game with me, and we played it each night, discovering the new MMO for ourselves and learning about its mechanics. However, the magic lasted around 2 weeks before the excitement wore off. World of Warcraft is perhaps the game that most exemplifies the fact that you can forge new meaningful experiences around a game from your past. As I mentioned before, I started playing WoW back in 2007, and I'm still playing it today. With new content being released for classic WoW and different people to play it with, it's like starting the adventure all over again. Although perhaps it really just shows the grips that the business of nostalgia really has over me. Me and my fiance recently played through one of my childhood favourites, Marathon Durandal. This game is the predecessor to the critically acclaimed Halo. I still remember watching my dad play this game when I was very small, and I spent many nights using the map editor to mess around making my own maps. I used to get demo discs from a Mac magazine that my dad would buy, and they would contain custom maps for Marathon, which were always fun to explore. But playing through this game with my fiance created new memories, as she was very against playing it with me at first, but after committing to playing it, we enjoyed playing through it together, and I enjoyed playing through the game once again, and having someone to play it with. I grew up mostly an only child until the age of 11 when my brother was born. I would often find myself playing games on my own and feeling very lonely. This allowed me to experience the game once again with someone. A game that I doubt many people even think about to this day, but has a special place in my ever-aging brain. Instead of chasing the past, use it as a guide as to what you want to create now. What you used to enjoy doesn't mean that this is the end. Make new traditions. Make time to try a new game with a friend. Experience something new, while carrying a love for the old. Sometimes I stop and think about how the things that I am doing today will one day be a nostalgic memory. Making these very videos may one day be one of those memories. Every game that I feel nostalgic for is tied with something that has happened in my life at the time. For instance, when I think of the game Disco Elysium, now it just reminds me of my cat passing away. These days, I keep saying to myself, one day I will feel nostalgic for what I am doing right now, so I should enjoy it. Right now, I pour most of my energy into creating YouTube videos for this channel. I have been focused on this for over a year now, and it has taken up a lot of my life over this time. I know with 100% certainty that when it's all said and done, I will be nostalgic for this time period right now. Whether it's because I've moved on to new endeavours, or my channel may have grown and it isn't the same as it is right now, the work that I'm doing will one day be a fond memory of the passions that I followed. Even if you don't realise it, what you are doing today is meaningful, and you will look back at this time fondly. So don't forget to take a step back and appreciate where you are. Do you have a particular game that you were nostalgic for? I'd love to know what games mean the most to you, so drop a comment down below and let me know.